I hope that Republican district attorneys and attorney generals throughout the country are closely watching the tremendous weaponization of justice that is being utilized against me. There's never been anything like it. But you ought to watch, and frankly, it's an eye for an eye, or it's fight fire with fire. What they're doing to our country is amazing. So Republicans, I hope you're watching.
Former President Trump out with a bold message this week, calling on all Republicans and Republican district attorneys to pay very close attention to the barrage of indictments levied against him by the Biden Justice Department and Democratic district attorneys. The former president's warning comes as he enters a not guilty plea in the case brought by Fulton County DA Fani Willis, a step that will prevent him from having to appear in person at his arraignment in Georgia in just a matter of days. Let's bring in former acting attorney general and America First legal board member. There he is, the great Matt Whitaker. Matt, this is an amazing moment. First off, we won't see the spectacle of Trump going to and from court for his arraignment now, in this case at least. But Fulton County has just said, Matt, that they will broadcast the trial on their YouTube channel. How crazy will that be?
Yeah, good morning, Rita, and happy Saturday. I always enjoy being on with you. Obviously, this district attorney and this judge are excited about the attention it's going to get. They think it's going to promote their political futures and careers. But, you know, while I am all for a broad distribution and ability for citizens to see trials and to be in the courtroom, I think putting it on YouTube and just generally making it available is not the most disciplined way, nor the most, the best way that Americans can see what's happening in this trial. So I would expect that the Trump team will object to this, but at the same time, I am for cameras in the courtrooms because I think it gives the American people a chance to see how justice operates.
Do you believe that this could also potentially backfire? And I say that because you know President Trump, I know President Trump. He is also a master at the media, and he's used to being on camera. Does this also give an opportunity in many ways to turn the tables, if you will, because now he'll also have a chance not only to be able to express himself, but to be able to present evidence that wasn't able to be presented before?
No, that's a really good point. And remember, it's not going to be then just about the 12 jurors that have to make a decision. It's going to be about the court of public opinion. And I'm sure many Americans will tune in, will watch it, will follow the blow by blow, will see the evidence, and they'll quite frankly see how weak the evidence is in this case and how this RICO conspiracy that the district attorney has built is not based really in law. It's a very speculative case. It's never been done before. You know, the First Amendment obviously protects much of this speech that was done. And so it's going to be a spectacle, but I don't think, to your point, it's going to turn out exactly how they had hoped.
You know, also, in addition to this, we have former President Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, Matt, and some of the other defendants. They are petitioning to have their cases moved to federal court. This is, of course, we're talking about the Georgia case here. Now, the judge has promised a ruling on the Meadows request any day now and has set September 20th as a hearing date for the other defendants. If they're successful, how would that impact the case against President Trump? Is it good for him to be separated, or is it better for all of them to be together?
Well, if one case goes and it's a conspiracy case, I don't know how you could try it in two different courtrooms, a state court and a federal court. Now, that being said, I think Mark Meadows' case is a very strong removal case. You know, he was acting as chief of staff. It was in his official duties. And so, there seems to be a very strong case. And remember, in federal court, you're going to get a broader jury pool, and you're going to most likely get a better judge who's going to apply the law. And obviously, the appeals court We could argue whether or not the 11th Circuit and the U.S. Supreme Court is better than the Georgia system. But at the end of the day, I think all of these cases are going to land in the U.S. Supreme Court because they are such novel legal theories that this district attorney has built a case on. So there's going to be a lot more we're going to talk about in the upcoming Saturdays, Rita.
Yeah, no doubt. The other thing is, too, we also talked about Mark Meadows, Matt, but also the attorneys in this case. I mean, it really is unprecedented that they're going after, like a Rudy Giuliani, a John Eastman. What does that say to defending a client in America?
Yeah, well, and not only defending a client, but advising a client. You think about a lawyer's role is to, help their client understand what the law is and what's possible. Donald Trump and several others are going to have a really great advice of counsel defense, which says, my lawyer said I could do this way, and I did it, and so I am protected from criminal liability. I mean, there are so many interesting issues, where the Constitution and, an individual's right to certain things, including free speech, are being challenged here. And so this case is going to be remarkable. And to your, earlier point, it's going to be streamed on the internet for everyone to watch.
Yeah, many people are saying it's going to be bigger than OJ, if you will, because it was like the white Bronco following every move.
Right.
Fannie Willis, also the DA there in Fulton County, has requested an October trial date. That, to me, was amazing. She just submitted that a few days ago. Matt, it's September. We're talking 1 month away. I mean, is that realistic by any measure, Matt Whitaker?
No, of course not, especially in a 19-defendant RICO conspiracy. These cases typically take months, if not years, to prepare. Defendants ultimately control the speed with which the trial happens, especially if they're willing to waive their speedy trial rights that are theirs to waive. And so I expect this case is going to not happen in October. I think you're going to see many of these cases continue to be pushed and slide just because of the sheer volume of it. I mean, that's the challenge. The left has decided to bring 4 criminal cases all at the same time to try to overwhelm President Trump and his defense counsel. And I think, the courts are going to have to appreciate what it's going to take to prepare for each one of these unique cases and their novel legal theories.
Yeah, and there certainly will be novel legal theories. And I agree with you. I think ultimately it is probably going to end up at the Supreme Court in some form. Matt, we love having you here. Thank you for being here on this Labor Day weekend, too. Thank you.